All right, we're live at Consensus Miami 2026 with Nick Hansen, team lead at the Graph Foundation, talking about data, AI agents, institutional adoption, and much, much more. Nick, I appreciate you taking the time.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate the work you're doing. It's really nice to meet you, and good vibe here this year.
Definitely, yeah, super fun, and there's a lot going on. I've seen the Graph around for a few years now, and you guys are ahead of the curve on data and now AI agents and AI integrating with blockchain. Data is so important with blockchain, especially as institutions come in. I'm sure we can touch on that later, but data it's probably everything.
It is, and any industry runs on data, right? So the Graph story's been very easy to tell. And as you noted, I mean, the Graph's a pioneer in this industry. So long before big shows like this and a lot of the attention that people have in this space, the Graph was first to the market on querying blockchain data. And so there's a lot of pride in the brand and what the Graph represented, introduced a lot of standards to the industry in relationship to querying blockchain data and how that lifeblood to any industry is going to be handled in the blockchain space. And we're thrilled to be here at Consensus this year. We support a lot of the chains and a lot of the people here. And so the Graph is one of those things where it's like silent but deadly infrastructure. Everybody's using it. Nobody knows who's using what. And we're really very proud of that.
Definitely. And as more institutions come into the industry, maybe we can give a high level on, obviously, data is important, and a good example could be, for trading or getting a competitive advantage in the markets, but I'm sure that there's many, many reasons and types of data. Can you sort of give a high level on the Graph and those different types of data that you can provide?
Yeah, so I think that's an important question, right? Because you can segment the market in so many different ways. Institutions have an interest in data that's far different from a developer that's building a dApp in their, in their garage or coming up with a big idea. So the way I would think about it is blockchains were fundamentally designed to be written to. That was it, right? A public ledger that can't be manipulated. Somebody at some point needed to come along and make that blockchain data easier to read and access. And so, as I said, the Graph was a first mover in that. So once you've got that piping to read that data, what you want to do with it is really at the hands of the builder. And the Graph has always been very builder focused. And so we look at what the protocol exists and the current roadmap, and we're trying to design products and solutions that can accommodate all different types of use cases. So institutions, what kind of data do they need? Well, they're interested in transactional data, but they have regulatory mandates such that the quality of that data, the way it's maintained and custodianship of that data, auditability is really important. A developer, however, and in fact, we're at the booth here, I just spoke with a developer that's building a pretty cool NFT idea. They don't need all that sort of regulatory implications that institutions need on the data. They need something more simple and streamlined. So when you're infrastructure and you want to accommodate an entire growing and evolving industry, the Graph sets up the piping, different data solutions to accommodate end-to-end all types of that. Now, you've mentioned a couple times AI, and AI is its own sort of bag of tricks.
Definitely. I would love to dive into that. First, I have a question about quality versus quantity of data. You can have a lot of data, but if it's not high quality, then it's not much good.
Yeah, so this question of you can get the data, but is it verifiable? And these things is a huge challenge for any participant in the industry. And the Graph's been working on that for a long time. As I'm sure you know, and I hope listeners know, the Graph's a decentralized protocol, so it's not a centralized SaaS. We have core developer teams within the ecosystem over a number of years that have been contributing to things such as verifiability and making sure the data is of high quality. But the problem in my mind is a little bit less about the verifiability and the quality of the data. At this stage in the evolution of the industry, it's about how do we treat all these different blockchains in a way that a data provider can synthesize and make that data composable. Because a real block in my mind to this Web3 vision and what crypto sort of always intended to be is the composability of all these different blockchains. And the Graph has been working on that. One of the founders spun off and is devoting their entire time to coming up with that composability and making Web3 data more composable. So yeah, quality is certainly important. I would argue getting all these different blockchains into one solution and the composability between chains is at this stage a more important problem.
Definitely, I agree. And maybe we could touch on the decentralized nature of it and the importance of that. I feel like as institutions come in, they want quality data and they want to do what they did in TradFi, they might not necessarily see as much value in decentralized or not decentralized part of an ecosystem as they did from traditional finance.
Yeah, so to be fully honest with you, that's a really important question because we're seeing institutions come to the market. Institutions are interested in the tech and the solutions being built in this space. But what is the appetite of a publicly traded Wall Street-based institution to use a decentralized protocol?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about it and framing it that way, things like SOC 2 compliance, which in the US means you're regulated and you've met the high bar under the regulatory bodies to participate in that space, as well as KYC and a lot of these other things that early Web3, early crypto industry would have said, no, we're actually revolting against this stuff. But now that the institutions are showing up, projects like the Graph and pretty much every booth here need to figure out how to accommodate that. So the way we're thinking about that is, number one, the Graph is not going to abandon decentralization. It's a core thesis of what this thing is from DNA birth to present. So the question is, okay, if institutions have some friction to using a decentralized permissionless protocol, what are the ways in which we can bend and flex this decentralized solution in such a way to take advantage of that market opportunity? And there's a lot of different ways to do it. You and your audience may or may not know this, but the Graph has been working alongside DTCC, huge player in the TradFi space. And we have learned a lot through our connections there and working alongside a monolith like that to understand what the appetite and what the needs are of institutional users. And so I would say institutions are here. It's unknown quite yet what their appetite is for using decentralized protocols per se, but there's enough bend and flex here that projects like the Graph that are forward thinking and willing to take advantage of those opportunities will be fine. And I think there's a lot of value creation to be had there.
Definitely. There's a lot of narratives that have been shaping are really seem like they're starting to build a foundation of the industry and also the merging of AI with blockchain, AI agents, and stablecoins, payments, and privacy also a little bit there. I don't know if we could touch on that, but how does the Graph's roadmap sort of integrate some of these things that are shaping up to be sort of the pillars of the next part of Web3?
Yeah, so the Graph's most recent roadmap really postulates a future where the Graph needs to act more like a marketplace, meaning if you've got a community of node operators that have tried and tested this technology at the protocol level, and you have a marketplace of data service providers, why wouldn't they just plug into something like the Graph and run it there? So the roadmap really postulates that all these booths that are in the data game who want to put their data service, host their data service on a decentralized network would see the value in doing it with the Graph, the industry pioneering technology, and the proven and tried and tested proven technology that the Graph has. So I think in that regard, AI comes along and it opens up this whole new frontier. You were talking earlier about what is the appetite of the market for data, quality, verifiability, volume. AI is its own animal. And you've been around long enough to know every week it's something new in AI. That curve of like what's going on in that space is ever changing and highly evolving. And so in the roadmap, the Graph not only postulates that we need to become more of a marketplace for data service providers, but we also need to become more hyper aware of what's happening in DeFi and AI. And DeFi really encapsulates, in my mind, this running parallel to institutions and enterprise. Hard to know how those two places will play together, but those are really the core of what the roadmap postulates.
Definitely. In terms of decentralized finance, DeFi really is the core, but as these institutions come in, we're also seeing tokenization of real-world assets, money markets, eventually into tokenized stocks and then real estate and everything tokenized in the world. What about the data behind that and sort of expanding beyond DeFi?
So my answer to that is all of that's super exciting. A lot of those threads have been around for a while. RWAs have been around for a while. So I'm still waiting for that shoe to drop. Not being cynical, just saying like, okay, what's really going to happen there? Stablecoins are interesting. I think when the enterprise and institutional users show up, all that's going to shift. That narrative's going to change even more. We heard today about DTCC, an announcement about stablecoins and trading in July. That was a big announcement. So that's a first mover type of activity where we won't know a lot of this other stuff until July when we start seeing monoliths like DTCC behave in the space. All of that said, the graph's position is any one of those market participants that need to be able to read blockchain data, either because they need the information in-house or they must provide it to a user, they're going to need a solution for that. And there's nobody better positioned than the graph to be the key provider.
Definitely, that's super exciting. In terms of in the near future, second half of 2026, what do you think is the most valuable type of data in blockchain data solutions that these institutions want?
Well, based on conversations, I've been privy to have, and I'm lucky about that. Institutions are smart. They have shareholders that want to return on their money. They have public earnings calls, and they file reports to the government. So far different than some other industry participants in this space. They're very dialed up, and they're very serious. They're looking at top performing chains where all the action is or where the trade's going to exist, right? So when you sit down with an institutional or enterprise type client or user, they're not talking about all blockchains. They're talking about a list of blockchains where all the action is, and they want to make sure that they're best positioned and available to participate in that space. I don't want to say the names. I don't think that's a good move for me in my role at the Graph Foundation. But I will say it always comes down to a handful of 5 or 6 chains, and they want to know what's your depth on those chains, what's your redundancy, how much exposure and support do you have for those chains, and those are the questions that those users are asking about.
Definitely. And in terms of the retail as well, can they get access to some of this data? In a smaller capacity if they have a small budget to try to take advantage and sort of meet where those big players are at?
Yeah, so the price of using the graph is same for everybody, and the graph really launched with that small hobbyist solo developer in mind. And so we have still within the user ecosystem of the graph a lot of those solo entrepreneurs that are launching a DApp that's reporting or creating a dashboard on some DeFi activity or NFTs, and it's cheap to use, it's easy to use. It just comes down to how important is data to the solution you're providing, and in terms of the competitive field, how important is to you to build on a decentralized protocol and benefit from all the redundancy and decentralization that comes with it.
Yeah, I love that you guys are keeping that decentralized ethos and also being able to support small developers, solo entrepreneurs, especially with AI. It's like we're getting so many one-man teams here.
100%. Yeah, I mean, AI's changed everything.
Yeah.
I thought I was riding an amazing curve personally, moving from TradFi into crypto. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This blockchain space is really something. And then AI came along. At first, it was funky to me. I don't know what your first experiences were, but LLMs were funny. You could put funny questions in there or contrive situations, and there was like water cooler jokes going back and forth with AI. But man, that curve has been unbelievable. I can't keep up with it. I'm non-technical, so I really don't have a chance. But watching what people are building and the flexibility and the agility in the marketplace. I think Jack Dorsey said it best the other day. I don't know if you saw this quote, but he said, there used to be a point in time in corporate life where if someone had an idea for a product and they wanted to come pitch the executive team, it was usually a slideshow or a Google Doc. People are bringing prototypes now. They just come in with a prototype. That's insane, and that's the new reality. And I think Coinbase's announcement today, reducing staff by 14%. Hard to read. Super disappointed in colleagues and friends that I know at Coinbase that are affected by that. But the real announcement in that thing is how they're going more AI-based. And I'm sure it relates back to what Dorsey and a lot of other people have noticed.
Definitely, yeah. It's even myself also being non-technical, I'm getting FOMO and I'm becoming a developer and just dive into it even more. One thing about AI that we didn't touch on yet is AI agents. And I feel like a lot of people are going to access the data like through an agent interface or something like that. do you see that tying into the graph in that you're not using it directly, but perhaps an AI agent as an intermediary?
So there are teams within the graph ecosystem, Edge and Node specifically, who are seriously contemplating this agentic economy and how sort of the graph and the type of solutions that need to exist in that are. I'm uncertain of what that future looks like. I think, for example, it's easy to envision based on the growth of AI and people like you and I becoming developers overnight. There is this low entry point where it's not hard to imagine a future where we are spinning up agents and there is this agentic economy. Are we on the cusp of that? I don't really know. I'm having a hard time making sense. And part of my cynicism with respect to everybody here is for so many years, this industry's always chased meta narratives, right? Something comes along and it's like, oh, let's tether to that. Let's tie to that. It was the EFTs for a while. It's AI now. NFTs for a period of time, DeFi summer. So I'm not sure about what the sustainability of that particular narrative is or sort of what that looks like over the long term. I'm excited by an agentic future. The graph is well positioned to serve that type of use case. Is that going to be the unlock or the killer app for this industry? You know, Mark Andreessen recently postulated that the agentic economy is the killer app for crypto. He's a lot smarter than I am, so I'd probably listen to him, but more than me. But the key at the graph and within this ecosystem is being positioned for all these opportunities. And in the event that it is an agentic future, being well positioned to participate in that. Personally, I'm super excited about the idea that there's an agent out there that I could send some money to or set up a wallet to, and it could become my financial advisor, it could become my tax consultant, it could do all these things for me. Super excited about that. Don't know if we're quite there yet, but would love to see it.
It seems like that's the trajectory. We're getting there. So yeah, only time will tell. But
for sure.
Some of these innovators they're saying there's going to be more transactions in wallets with AI agents than people, and crypto was made for AI agents. So
100%. I mean, that's a really important point that I think people often gloss over, which is if you just put on your history hat for a minute here and try to look at a high level all these different things that are emerging, like where did this blockchain thing come through? Where did this AI thing come from? It's no coincidence to me that in parallel, you have this agent type technology at a time when you've got blockchain. And I think the marriage there, when we're 100 years down the line, 500 years, the historians will look back and be like, oh, wow, that was really serendipitous that those two things sort of grew and emerged at the same time. Because as you said, it seems to me they're designed for each other.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate all your insights into this and the graph's position on it. Once again, I love that you guys are sticking to the decentralized side of it, but also tying into AI, following where that leads. No one really knows what's happening. What's the best way for institutions or individuals, retail investors or developers to check out the graph and the quality data?
Yeah, it's a little trite, but definitely just go to graph.com. That's a really powerful website that can point any user in the right direction. Follow us on Twitter, the Graph Protocol. We're constantly making announcements from the foundation. I should say, the Graph is a decentralized protocol. We've got a strong foundation team that's stewarding the health and growth of the ecosystem, but we have a lot of builders and a lot of developers participating in this ecosystem, doing a lot of the hard work. Huge shout out to our indexer community, all those independent node operators that are really the backbone of supplying all that blockchain data, and to all the developers and builders that have been building on the graph for a lot of years. But go to the website, follow us on Twitter, stay up to date on what's happening at the bleeding edge of data.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, good luck with everything you're working on.
Thank you.